If you have a role-playing group and you want to play a treasure-finding, seafaring adventure, then this map might be the one for you. It is super awesome because it has all these old names for places, and some of them are still the same. Some of them are similar to what we call things today, and it just kind of looks cool. So if you're into, exploring distant places and you want to play that in like the past when, Europeans basically just found out that all of this exists, go for this map. This map comes from 1616, so this is 100 years after, more or less, 100 years after the Portuguese began establishing small colonies in Southeast Asia. More stunningly, it is 150 years, again, more or less, after the Europeans found out that this even exists. And before that, Europeans had basically assumed, or many had assumed, that this worldview of there's a land bridge between South Africa and East Asia is true, and that the Indian Ocean is kind of an enclosed ocean, more like a huge lake. And at some point they figured out, oh, this is actually not true. We can sail around Africa and then reach India and then go to Southeast Asia. Awesome, because now we can use ships much faster to get spices and other goods from these lands. And so this was, of course, back then an exotic place. The Spanish and the Portuguese were the first, and by this time, 1616, the Dutch had also arrived. And there will be more players to this, and obviously colonization is always kind of a sad topic anyways. But still, this map is quite charming because it looks so weird. You have in the West, you might not even see it first. In the West, you have India, and in the East, you have China. But both are super small. Like China should be much bigger, India should be much bigger, and going more to the south. And the focus of this map is really Southeast Asia from like a size view. But in India and China, you have all these places that are labeled and named because, Europeans were aware that there are certain ports or cities or places of importance. This map has a couple of mountain ranges, which I'm not sure if they were just kind of made up or assumed, because, for example, you don't see in the north all that much. You have rivers, and you have only one named river, the Indus Fluviy. You don't have the Ganges named, although it seems like it might be there. In China, you have at least one river, and that river is then probably either the Yellow River or Ganges River, or maybe a combination of both. And in the southeast, you have the Mekong, although either the one is too small or it's kind of split between the southern and northern river. Interestingly enough, you have here again a depiction of a lake with 4 rivers stretching from it. And if you've seen my last videos, this is a very common theme, not only in European maps, but also in Asian maps, adding a bit of mystery and mythology to this map. Otherwise, this map tries to be very factual. You even have on the upper left side, you have a scale that tells you how many miles, in this case German miles, a certain distance is. And of course you have all these place names that are very accurately placed somewhere. Well, not accurately, very specifically placed somewhere. The map gets, of course, many things wrong. I mean, the dimensions, for example, the shape of Japan, complete nonsense. We don't have to talk about that. It's still a very charming map. Again, little bit of mythology, a little bit of accuracy. You can even measure how far your players will need to go. So again, for your next role-playing session, you might want to consider this map.